Juggernaut, who is he really? A mutant or not? Cain Marko, better known as the unstoppable Juggernaut, has been one of the most striking and destructive figures in the Marvel Universe for over half a century. A huge giant in scarlet armor capable of sweeping away everything in his path, he has long been a cult villain, especially in the history of the X-Men. But here's the paradox. Despite all his connections to mutants, the Juggernaut is not a mutant himself. Let's take a look at where his monstrous powers really come from and why he's not just another superhuman from the Marvel Universe. A small request before we begin. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. It's just one click for you, but a huge support for our team. Thank you. Now let's get down to business. The origin of the Juggernaut, Cain Marko and the Ancient Power. Many mistakenly believe that Cain Marko is a mutant, like most characters in the X-Men universe. However, his path to power was much more unusual. Cain was an ordinary man who served in the army during the Korean War. It was there that he had a fateful encounter with a mysterious artifact that changed his life forever. During a bombardment, he took shelter in a cave where he was followed by his stepbrother Charles Xavier. There, among the ruins of an ancient temple, they discovered the Crimson Stone of Cyttorak, an artifact of incredible power, revered as a sacred relic by primitive peoples. Charles tried to stop Cain, warning him of the possible consequences, but Cain ignored his warnings. Upon touching the stone, Cain heard a voice proclaiming him the avatar of Cyttorak, a destructive cosmic entity. At that moment, Marko became more than just stronger. He became the Juggernaut, a being capable of destroying armies and cities. Why isn't the Juggernaut a mutant? The answer is simple. His power is magical, not genetic. Cain never possessed the X gene, the very gene that makes mutants special in the Marvel Universe. He became a super being not through evolution, but through the intervention of Cyttorak, an ancient god of destruction from the Crimson Cosmos dimension. This demonic lord can grant power and take it away just as easily. That is why technologies that suppress mutations do not work on Juggernaut. His power defies the logic of evolution or science. It is literally magical. Even without the involvement of mutants, he is capable of becoming a threat to the entire planet. Source of power. Who is Cyttorak? Cyttorak is one of Marvel's most mysterious and dangerous creatures. He is known as the Lord of Fury, the God of Destruction, and even the Master of Devastation. He is the one who endows his champion, the Juggernaut, with unlimited physical power, protection from any attack, and the ability to become literally unstoppable. Once the Juggernaut gets going, there is no stopping him. To sum up, the Juggernaut is not a mutant. His power comes from the ancient being Cyttorak. His transformation occurred through a magical artifact, not as a result of mutation. This makes him a unique character in the Marvel Universe, standing apart from both mutants and magical beings. Juggernaut's power, the infinite energy of the Cyttorak Stone. The Cyttorak Stone is not just an artifact, but a source of truly limitless power. The energy it transmits to its avatar makes him a living weapon, combining incredible strength, endurance, protection, and most importantly, a never-ending supply of energy. Complete autonomy. Juggernaut beyond human limitations. The possessor of the Cyttorak Stone is freed from normal human needs. He does not need to eat, drink, sleep, or even breathe. His body feeds directly on the artifact's energy, regardless of physical conditions. A striking example of this is in The Amazing Spider-Man 230, where Peter Parker lures the Juggernaut into a cement trap. The giant slowly sinks into the viscous mass, and realizing that he cannot escape, calmly freezes for months, waiting for his moment. No panic, no fear, because he knows he can survive in any environment for as long as he wants. Why is he called unstoppable? The secret of his nickname lies in an endless source of kinetic energy that is activated when he moves. The Cyttorak Stone allows the Juggernaut to accelerate to such an extent that it becomes impossible to stop him. Only the most powerful beings, such as the Hulk, can resist this effect, and even they usually only slow him down. In one instance, he literally rammed through a mountain, continuing his movement due to his accumulated momentum. Endless Endurance Juggernaut's strength lies not only in his destructive power, but also in his complete lack of fatigue. While the Hulk can fight for weeks, Cain Marko can never stop. His body functions like a perpetual motion machine. The energy he receives from the stone circulates continuously throughout his body, allowing him to move, fight, and destroy without stopping. What role does his armor play? Although Juggernaut himself is virtually invulnerable, his equipment provides another level of protection. He has two types of armor, a mystical force field created by the power of Cyttorak, Cyttorak, it surrounds his body, deflecting most attacks. Physical armor known as Crimson Cosmos armor, which he can summon at will. This armor serves a dual purpose. It protects him if someone is able to penetrate the force fields. It contains a helmet with a skull capsule, his main defense against psionic attacks. After all, psionics are the only real weakness of the Juggernaut. Without protection, his mind is vulnerable to telepaths such as Charles Xavier, but thanks to the helmet and capsule, even they cannot penetrate his consciousness. The Juggernaut is not just a force, but a natural disaster. The combination of his magical nature, infinite energy, resistance to all types of damage, and immunity to telepathy makes the Juggernaut one of the most dangerous characters in Marvel. He is not subject to time, space, or the laws of physiology. He is pure destructive force, enclosed in armor and driven by the will of Cyttorak. The Juggernaut's physical power, how strong is he really? Despite his absurd level of physical power, the Juggernaut is not omnipotent. One of Cain Marco's few vulnerabilities remains psionic attacks. Telepaths such as Professor X or Jean Grey are able to penetrate his mind and defeat him with their mental abilities. This is why the Crimson Cosmos armor plays a critical role in his defense, blocking invasions of his consciousness and turning the Juggernaut into an almost invincible machine of destruction. Strength beyond measure, Juggernaut at his peak. Even if we limit ourselves to his physical characteristics, it becomes clear the Juggernaut is one of the strongest beings in the Marvel Universe, alongside Thor, Hulk, and other titans. Thanks to Cyttorak's blessing, Cain Marco gained strength beyond earthly or even cosmic standards. And if you think the Hulk is the pinnacle of physical power in comics, think again. The Juggernaut can not only stand up to him, but also surpasses him in endurance. His punches are like earthquakes. Juggernaut's huge fists can cause seismic waves, destroying buildings, creating cracks in the Earth's crust, and sweeping away everything in their path. Once he picks up speed, it becomes physically impossible to stop him. He turns into a living projectile. In the Amazing Spider-Man number 629, he demonstrates one of his most incredible feats. He withstands the gravitational pressure of the Earth's core and continues to punch his way through the planet's crust using only brute force. Very few in the Marvel Universe can repeat such a feat. Juggernaut versus the gods and titans. He fought Thor, withstanding the blows of Mjolnir. He fought the cosmic entities, the Hulk, Colossus, the Thing, and almost always emerged from battle unscathed. One of Juggernaut's signature abilities is the Thunderclap, in which he creates an explosive shockwave with his palms. Even those far from the epicenter feel its effects, and up close, the consequences can be devastating. This is just one facet of his physical ferocity. Fighting style and military background. It is important to remember that Cain Marco is not just a monster of strength. Before becoming the Juggernaut, he was a soldier. His military training and tactical thinking make him dangerous not only because of his strength, but also because of his ability to use it effectively in combat. He prefers close combat, easily breaking through enemy defenses without feeling fatigue or pain. Does the Juggernaut have regeneration? Despite being almost completely invulnerable, the Juggernaut sometimes takes damage, especially when mystical or cosmic artifacts are used against him. However, this is where another function of the Cyttorak stone comes into play, regeneration. Although his ability to recover is not as exaggerated as that of Deadpool or Wolverine, it works faster and more efficiently because it is activated by magic. For example, in a battle with the demon Despair, Juggernaut's body was turned into a skeleton. Yet in a matter of seconds, the stone of Cyttorak completely restored his flesh, bringing him back to life and combat readiness. Without fatigue, without pause, without mercy. Thanks to this regeneration and self-sustaining system, Juggernaut is able to remain in the thick of battle indefinitely. He does not tire, does not lose strength, and does not need rest. And even if he is seriously wounded, he will recover almost instantly until he dies completely, which is in fact almost impossible. Conclusion, Juggernaut is the physical embodiment of irreversible force. Enormous strength comparable to the Hulk, but with greater endurance. Impossible to stop him in motion. Magical armor plus protection from mental attacks. Super fast regeneration activated by an artifact. Absolute independence from sleep, food, air, or rest. Cain Marco is not just a strong opponent, he is a disaster that can only be endured, not stopped. Can Juggernaut have children? And how impossible is it to defeat him? When it comes to the Juggernaut, most people remember his monstrous strength, invulnerability, and relentless movement. But few ask the question, can he even start a family or even have children? The answer, oddly enough, is yes. And in some versions of the comics, this has already happened. Cain Marco as a father, the MC2 universe. On the alternate Earth 982 from the MC2 line, we meet Zane Yama, the son of Cain Marco and a woman named Sachi. In this universe, Juggernaut has reevaluated his life and and become a hero who works with the X-Men. Zane, having inherited some of his father's power, became a hero under the name J2, admiring his powerful parent. Although this storyline does not take place in the main universe, Earth 616, it makes it clear that Cain Marko is capable of reproduction and lives as a normal person despite his divine powers. In the main Marvel universe, everything is logical too. In the canonical Earth 616 universe, Cain Marko was an ordinary human, not a mutant, before his transformation. His powers are the result of a magical artifact, the Cyttorak stone, and although he is now almost invulnerable and independent of basic needs, his biology remains human, which means he can have offspring if he wishes. Can Juggernaut change size? Usually, no. Juggernaut does not have the ability to grow at will. However, there is an exception, and it is called Trion Juggernaut. In this form, Juggernaut fully unleashes the power of the Cyttorak stone, and his body can grow to colossal sizes comparable to those of the Sentinels. He becomes even more terrifying, not only physically, but also energetically. Trion Juggernaut, absolute destruction. In Trion form, Juggernaut gains increased height and mass, matter manipulation, levitation, energy absorption and reflection, energy projection, creation of portals through space and time, precise tracking of enemies. If the regular Juggernaut is a walking apocalypse, then the Trion version is literally an avatar of the end of the world. Can the Juggernaut be defeated? Despite his nickname the Unstoppable, the Juggernaut is not invincible. His only vulnerability is psionic attacks. Telepaths such as Professor X or Jean Grey are able to bypass all of his defenses, including his magical barrier, and directly influence his mind. For this reason, he always wears a massive helmet, inside which is hidden a skull cap that blocks telepathy. However, if someone removes it, Cain becomes an easy target for mental attacks. This trick has worked repeatedly. The heroes coordinated their actions. They removed his helmet and then struck his mind, forcing Juggernaut to fall. He has, of course, adapted, but even his measures are sometimes powerless against the highest level of psionics. Is Juggernaut immortal? Essentially, yes. The Stone of Cyttorak gives Cain infinite energy, complete autonomy, no need for food, air, or sleep, immunity to time, he does not age, survivability in a vacuum, resistance to poisons, radiation, and disease. And although he can be defeated mentally, physically, he is immortal in the truest sense of the word. Conclusion. When absurdity becomes a beautiful form of power. Yes, Juggernaut's powers are beyond reason. He can withstand the blows of gods, smash mountains, survive in the center of the earth, and grow to the size of a skyscraper. He heals faster than most heroes and never tires, but it is precisely this absurdity that makes him so charming. Juggernaut is not just a strong man in armor. He is a complex character with a rich history who has crossed over from the dark side to the side of heroes more than once. If you like this article, please like it, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss out on more stories about the most interesting heroes and villains of the Marvel Universe. Thank you for being with us. See you soon.